Good morning and hey now, PASW staff, clients, and friends joining us. Welcome to Thursday's class. We're already done with the week almost. Tomorrow we're going to see the film scoring results, your film scoring results for Stanley Kubrick's 2001 Space Odyssey. Great work. I can't wait to share that with you guys. Yesterday we did a little bit of part 3 of my life and my music, and hope you're enjoying that. We'll do another one next week. Before we looked at the Robert Altman film Popeye and how fun that was, the musical. Today we're going to do another LA tour, LA history kind of tour. So we were in Malta where they filmed Popeye in that little village. And now we're going to go to Hollywood. And we're going to look at the very famous, iconic Cinerama Dome. So it's on Sunset Boulevard, 6360. We know Sunset Boulevard. We did a whole class on the Whiskey A Go-Go, right? That's kind of West Hollywood. This is further east, kind of near Capitol Records, where we did another class on. And that's on Hollywood, but very close to the Cinerama Dome. And it's a few blocks west of the United Western Recorders, where a lot of the album for the Beach Boys, Pet Sounds, was recorded. And we did a whole class on it. So I'm kind of skipping around Sunset. It just goes to show you how much, in just a small space, how much history was made in Los Angeles. You know, just on Sunset, on Hollywood, these streets, all within a few miles, changed the world. So that's very cool. So the purpose of that, why they designed Cinerama Dome, they wanted a wide screen. They wanted to show movies on widescreen because they were losing to television for the most part. Television was coming out with, better programming. So they built it in 1963. So November 7th, 1963. So in 1963, probably the biggest thing is the JFK assassination. So this is built and opened 2 weeks before that assassination. So it opens November 7th, 1963 with Stanley Kramer's movie, It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. And 2 weeks later, the president is shot. And this is, of course, a huge thing that people still talk about. We won't get into the conspiracy. There's got to be some conspiracy there, though, with the mob and JFK. But, okay, I won't go down that path. And there's a loss of innocence for sure. I mean, if the government can take out a president, or if somebody can take out a president, then who's in charge? I mean, it's very scary times. And so this is 1963, and the world is changing. The Beatles released Please Please Me, huge hit, takes off. And like I said, television was becoming more prevalent. The Flintstones, Mr. Ed, The Avengers, Dick Van Dyke, these things are keeping people home more often, home on Saturday evenings when they usually would go out to the cinema. So what is show business, the people, the movie theater owners do? They say, well, let's get it back to, let's create a huge dome, a huge widescreen, and let's have reserved seating, and let's have printed programs, and let's get people back into the theater. And that's the reason why this was built. So it only took 16 weeks to build. And it was built by the Welton Beckett and Associates. And Welton Beckett was the same firm that did Capitol Records. They did the Music Center downtown and the Beverly Hilton and all those other things. So Cinerama it means kind of it's a widescreen process. So they're using three simultaneous 35 millimeter projectors going on at the same time. So to get that huge kind of curve, like, widescreen experience. So it's like this 146 degree angle or arc. And this was something that was kind of in the 50s and then, kind of in the 60s, this was something that was being developed. So the famous Buckminster Fuller, he had this technique that they used, and they bolted together 300 pentagonal and hexagonal shapes, panels, really, and it makes the audience feel like they're part of the film, really. This was huge in 1963. Now we have big theaters all over the place, but this was definitely a very smart move to get people to come back and enjoy the experience and be part of the experience. So if we think of it today, it's interesting to think studio executives and heads are still having problems getting people to the theater now in the year 2020. But 2020 for other purposes, that's not a good example. But today, currently, Netflix has really taken over, right? Streaming services have taken over. I don't really know offhand the business of studios, theaters. I mean, if they're doing what kind of business they're doing, but this was a problem going back to the 60s, where people would be complacent at their homes watching content, and now with streaming platforms, and longer content, longer programming, binge watching. All these things are interesting to think about, to see, do we still need to go out to the theater? And also home theater systems. Most probably people my age watch on their laptops or on their phones. But then there's also a whole group of people that have, cinemas in their house, surround sound, huge screens. So is the theater, what's going to happen with the theater? Is going out still going to be, obviously, we'll never have a Cinerama dome in our living rooms. But then, I don't know, maybe at some point we will. I mean, who even knows? So cool little thing to think about, the history of technology and movie making. And I'm glad this building is still there. It's a landmark, so can't be torn down, which is great. And fun, super cool theater. I saw The Little Mermaid there when it came out in '89. I was really little, and I do remember thinking, what's behind that screen? Who are those? I didn't understand the cartoon because I was 5 or something, and I wanted to go behind there and touch the people. I'm sure you guys have experienced the same thing. So, but I've been a few other times since then. It's great. So I don't know. Think about, do we need to go back to what is? It's something for us to think about. What is going to the theater still important? I'd like to think it is. There's certain things that I'll still go out and see movies on the big screen, but I don't know. We're in uncharted territories all around. So, okay, good. This was fun for our LA class, a little tour of LA. Tomorrow we will be seeing the film results for 2001. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, love you. Have a great rest of the day. Talk to you. See you tomorrow.